Yep. Hello, Richard.
Hello. Hi,
Hi.
Hawk.
It's so nice to have you back. And I know you have been very, very busy
Yeah,
with
there's been a lot of stuff going on lately.
yeah, with cosmic and planetary issues. So today we will touch a little bit on your book that you wrote, The History of the Universe and the Psychic War of End Times.
Yes.
So, Etienne, you wrote that book some years ago. There must be a lot of updates. So
Yes.
I'll let you take on from here.
Okay. And well, first thing, if you haven't, this is the second interview in the series. If you have not seen the first one, it would be important to watch the first interview because it really sets the really sets the foundation to be able to validate the information that you're receiving, like what is actually true, what is not, and like to be able to really like validate the information on your own, and that's very very important, especially when we go into some, let's say, far out topics that otherwise it's like, yeah, one person saying this but another person saying this. What is true, what is disinformation, what is social engineering and misinformation? It's very important to be able to differentiate that. The other thing is, I wrote the book in 2016, and so is it? I'm talking about the Dracos, Atman, is the cyborg, and these forces are gone. So is the book really still relevant today? And what I'm seeing very often is people who start to become aware that there's stuff going on, but they have no idea of the context, and they're completely phased out of the actual changes that are unfolding, and they just get completely kind of like get sidetracked or taken out of the game altogether when they have the right intentions, but they, it's like if you're trying to run like trying to race with your car in the city, but you have the map of the wrong city, and then like you just end up crashing your car.
Yeah.
So yes, it is very important to understand the context of what is happening. Like an example of that, look at the liberal movement. They have good intentions, but have no freaking clue about the context, so they just end up being completely manipulated into defending the deep state and being the only thing maintaining them in power.
I see.
That's a great example of it.
Wow.
Because they do not understand this, that all of this happened before Trump got even elected. So it's not like stuff that's been happening after the, like with Trump coming in. We've been at, a lot of people have been at that for 10, 15, 50 years. It's important to understand the context to put things into perspective.
You know, Etienne, actually, I read your book 3 or 4 times, and I read it again yesterday. But I tell you, there are many parts which I still do not understand. And I want to bring your attention because on page 64, you have release Atman emotions.
Mhm. Yes.
So, and also you have a diagram on page 68, open memories.
Yes.
So my question is this: how do we make use of these diagrams you have? How long do we meditate on it and how to?
Well, it's basically like a symbol like that. It is basically it's like a symbol or a mantra. It's an aggregate of energy. So simply tuning into the energy of the symbol.
Oh,
So don't overcomplicate it. It's an aggregate of energy. When you tune your mind into it, connect with the energy, then it has the effect on you, and that's pretty much all it is.
Right. Thanks for explaining from the author himself. And can you tell a little bit more about Atman? I think a lot of people um, are confused or have no idea.
Yes. So Atman, and there's been new information that came out in regards to that.
Oh, wow.
So Atman is basically a very ancient being in the multiverse. He basically wanted to like take control of the universe and trying to do all kinds of experiments to like gain control of the multiverse. He basically created about 100 created or partially created 112 universes, including ours.
Oh,
And for that reason, there are some beings in upper universes who thought that this universe needs to be deconstructed because it was just it shouldn't exist to begin with. Which not everybody agrees with. And some other and what's interesting about Atman, one of his incarnation was known as Jesus. However, he did not have access to his memories back then. So that's an incarnation where he actually did really good things, but he did not have access to his memories, and he did not have access to his full powers either.
oh, all right.
However, why did he? When it's just like something that kind of clicked, like after all of that happened, is when he was crucified on the cross. Why was he put on the cross? They accused him of basically impersonating saying that he was God, like impersonating the creator. Well, that is actually what happened. It is an archdemon that was hiding itself by impersonating the creator, and then ended up believing that. Well, he tried all kind of things. Some incarnation, tried like a good approach or a bad approach, tried everything. But he was known in that. That's the incarnation that he's really known for. But it actually looks very similar to the movie Guardians of the Galaxy 2, with the Ego, the name of the guy, and Ego has his planet and very, very powerful demon. Well, that actually is pretty damn similar to Atman.
Oh.
But now here's a little kicker at that. Is recently I realized that my soul is a whole lot older than I thought. And so I'm only a tiny fraction of my actual higher self.
Aha.
But most of that higher self is actually pretty nasty. And then I realized that, compared to my higher self, my own fragment is like a baby compared to the higher self. That's what I gathered is that that higher self is one of the 100 oldest souls in the entire multiverse.
Oh, wow. Oh.
But my own fragment of consciousness is a tiny fraction of that. But now it's there's been a lot of cleansing and collisions, and right now 92.6% of that higher self ended up disintegrating. It really needed some cleansing. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Another interesting thing is that Atman is another fragment that was created. And then my fragment was It's like, oh, my higher self created the fragment of Atman to take control of, to kind of take control of the universes to then be able to dismantle them. And then that fragment just like when you create a baby and then just goes on its own and like oh shit, and then the fragment created the higher self created me to go after that motherfucker. So yeah, it's kind of interesting stuff that came
It
up.
is interesting, it is complicating, and it is important. And I know that you have had a little bit of reunion with your higher self.
Yeah, basically, like my higher self was literally trying to destroy me. But when you're, even if you, like, when you're in full alignment and integrity with God, like, nothing can touch you. Like, doesn't matter. Like, powers and proportions don't matter. When you're in full alignment and integrity, like, nothing can get to you.
Right, that's important. And I think in your case, it's probably like you are your greatest own enemy. And it's like, say, in martial arts, Bruce Lee versus Bruce Lee. Ooh, it's too much. What's the latest information you have about Atman you mentioned before?
Well, Atman is gone. He's been eliminated from this timeline. Then we realize that he was still in other parallel timelines. So then we erased him from all timelines. So that's completely gone.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, lately there's been a lot of stuff unfolding. So yeah, so with the goal of this interview was to give a bit of updates on like
Yeah.
what else has been going on since I wrote the book, and like there's been several waves of assaults from different groups in the universe and from the multiverse. So one of the things is now, like there were a lot of attacks from the multiverse. Now there's some new federation that have been formed. So the Access Federation is a federation of gatekeepers across the multiverse. And now the gates have been shut between the multiverse. So there's no more going back and forth between the different universes. So because we were getting attacks from like 100 universes above, 500 universes above, like things were just getting completely out of control. So now the gates are closed. So whoever is in this universe, we're dealing with this, and no one else is coming in. And before the gates were closed, there's like a couple of billions guardians from much higher universes who came in, like answered the call and came in to help with all of this. And then the gate was shut. Nobody else is passing through, either good or bad.
How recent was this, Etienne? The gates being, or the portals being closed?
Um, I don't know, when did I write about that? That was maybe. Well, how you made the drawing back then?
Oh, yeah. Okay,
You made the
okay.
drawing when those assaults came in. That was the last in June, the last solstice.
Right, right,
So it
right.
was around that time.
Yeah.
So it's been about 6 months ago.
Yes. Wow.
And it's funny, you put like so many details on your drawing, and it's like, yeah, we were, yeah, getting attacked from higher dimensional beings, octopuses, all that. You put those drawings, but you put something else that I never ever mentioned, didn't even know about. You put a fleet of draconian ships
Yeah,
on your drawing,
yeah.
and then after all of that, then I heard reports that the reptilians gave a major assault with a fleet of ships in our solar system, and you put it in your drawing. So I was kind of impressed with that.
Yeah, at the spur of the moment, some inspiration or some information flow in while I did the drawing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so that's one major thing. There were like big problems with arc demons. The situation with arc demons has been resolved also. So the arc demons from the different universes are gone. Like the fourth universe above was in very, very bad shape with arc demons and all that. The fourth universe above has been restored. It's like the civilization destroyed by the arc demons have been basically brought back in time into the present to restore it.
Oh.
Kind of like copy paste, and then like, yeah, let's build the universe back up. It's like so like, but when dealing with those upper universes, it's like the level of let's say energetic skills and abilities are like it's like really, 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 really high level compared to like what anything of us in this universe would do. It's like normally there's no interactions between those much older universes and our universe. That was like very unusual situation where there's all that traffic going back and forth. Normally, stuff from upper universes should never go into the lower universes. But it's kind of like that. It kind of turned out into a big highway, and that's not supposed to be.
Oh.
And now that's no more.
So does that mean that you have more free time, Etienne?
Well, let's go over the stuff that happened recently, like something really interesting. So, I mean, I've heard some crazy stories about how like people got in touch with me, like someone in her dreams, like told her to look me up, and then like just type my name on the internet, and then she saw me, and then she reached out to me. But this time, someone just showed out of nowhere in Europe, and knocked at someone's door, and said that he wanted to get in touch. Like, he asked him if he knew me. The guy was like, okay, and he just typed my name in Google, found me, and then, yeah, there's this guy who came here, like, would like to talk with you. Like, well, yeah, like people like asking for my free time all the time. It's like what the, yeah, like all the time people are just reaching out. Yeah, can I have your free time to like just talk about stuff and all of that. So I thought like just like, but no, actually like then I realized that he said, yeah, okay, yeah, like this guy just showed up out of nowhere, like just opened the fridge, like drank a whole can of Coke, and then just crashed on the sofa and sleeping the entire day, just waking up per 5-10 minutes per day, and like just sleeping for days in a row. Like, okay, there's something going on there. So the guy said that he, before coming here, his last location was Sheol. Sheol. Well, okay, so there's legends about Sheol that it's kind of like basically hell, and where souls get trapped after death, so something like that. Like, at first I thought, well, isn't that like an astral realm, like the Heaven Palace and all of that? And he said, no, it's a physical location. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I don't know anything about it. Well, it turns out Sheol is, well, there's a civilization in Sheol which is through a gate that is close to Mars. You go through that gate, you get into a time bubble. It's like a time bubble is basically like a mini universe created within the universe. And so the guy was in Sheol, somehow got through with the veil. It's like normally we're not able to do teleportation or stuff like that. Somehow he has the ability to like bypass the veil and got here. And now he left back. So he found a way to get here, and he found a way to leave again.
This mysterious person, Etienne, is he human?
Human. He looks human, but something is quite different with his DNA.
Right, I see.
But he looks normal. So he came here, and like basically like just waking up for 5-10 minutes per day. Like he was not in shape at all to like explain to him like what the heck is going on, why he's here, or anything. So but tuning in energetically, like we kind of like figured out what the heck is going on. So So he came here, and then he basically drew, like he was carrying a war with him, and all there was a species known as the Arachnadesh, who like basically came after him, and he was coming here to seek refuge from them.
All right.
Yeah. So now the Marco, the patriarch of Andromeda, he says that they are an Arachnadesh. They look like kind of like mantis with sides, but they say that they actually are humanoids like us. Like they can be, they don't look exactly human, but they're humanoids. I'm not exactly sure what they look like. But they've seen some of them. Like some of them actually got on the ground. Like the guy was fooled by one of them, and some others, so some of them got on the ground also.
Oh, all right.
So there's those Arachnadesh that are in Sheol, and then they also called on backup from like larger part of their civilization. Like they're basically pirates, and larger part of their like they call support, like, and they're part of the universe, who themselves normally call support from higher universes. But now the gate is shut, they could not call that support. And but those that came in, do you know, like either the book or the game, or now there's a TV show of The Witcher.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And there's a Wild Hunt.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, the Wild Hunt is basically what they are, like very, very, very powerful, like very high level energetic power. They basically conquer worlds to get slaves and to feed from the soul of their victim to strengthen themselves. I mean, it's basically the Wild Hunt. Where does the Wild Hunt come from? That comes from the Slavic mythology, and that in turn looks like it's inspired from that group. So though they came to the border of our solar system, and then I warned people, well, there's a war coming up, and it's going to break out on December 7th. A lot of people are going to get nightmares. And I gave like a meditation to help people through that. A lot of people get nightmares and Dark Night of the Souls. And indeed, a lot of people got nightmares. And probably a lot of people who are listening to this, like on December 7th, 8th, 9th, later, like, what the heck is going on? Well, that's it. Like I warned people just like a few days in advance. So and we were also warned that they had weapons unlike anything we had seen before, even though like there were several major waves of assault. So we've been kind of careful in dealing with that, and like really worked a lot on that. So first on those pirates from outside the solar system, and then like their weapons were neutralized. There's a quarantine around our solar system, so they were not able to come in.
Oh, okay.
They have not been able to breach that quarantine. So, but they came from the outside, started feeding from. So basically, what happened? They could not reach. They could not really affect the genuine light workers because of our protection. However, what they were feeding on is all of the trash, the deep state. They broke what's left of the deep state by about 87%. So like, yeah, go ahead, feed from the trash.
So they really did us a favor. Right.
Yeah, so like kind of took it slowly with that, and we were like, everyone really wanted to like pull the trigger, eliminate them, but we're told them that like we're not authorized to attack yet, so we're kind of like we're just waiting by and waiting for authorization. But yeah, they were just feeding from the trash. So yeah, they did us a favor, and they never could come in the solar system. Then they eventually left. As for those in Sheol, these are more like the Arachnadesh itself. So basically, the Arachnadesh called from support from outside the solar system, who cannot come in, who themselves call from support from higher universe, who cannot come in either. It's like all the gates are closed, and like they realize quickly like this is not going well for them. No, this planet is the most heavily guarded fortress in this entire universe and 4 universes above ours. So they chose the wrong target. And before I talk about those in Sheol, another thing that happened recently, like very recently, is like there's a colony of Orion people. So these are some of my people, and some Andromedian refugees that were basically been displaced in the major attacks that came from upper universes. Some of the colonies like basically got destroyed, but some of those refugees and the colony of Orions and Andromedians, they came here and set up base under the North Pole.
Oh, all right.
So basically, the quarantine was lifted for exactly 6 minutes to allow that ship to come in. Was closed again, and now a couple of ships are in our solar system right now. So there's that colony. There's about 516 ships of the Galactic Federation in our around our planet, also beaming 5D energy to stabilize the energy. And I read a report from someone else where they actually saw with their telescopes that there were a large number of fleets from the Federation. Like, finally, someone confirming what I'm saying, who's not related at all with it. So there's a lot of ships. There's the Orions also came. Before I knew about the colony, I saw that there was one Orion ship that is extremely, let's say, extremely powerful and highly technological ship. Its name is basically creator and like the builder and destroyer of planets. And it's like very, very, very beautiful, like the extremely high vibration, but also among the deadliest thing is this whole universe. So like I was just wondering, like, what is that ship doing here? And it started working on the collective energies on the planet. But then I realized like it was like kind of creating the space for like kind of creating the ground for setting up the base.
Oh.
So there's several Orion ships. And then I saw like psychically I saw several of the Zeta ships trying to attack that Orion ship. It didn't go well for the Zeta. Like the Zeta, like they send a beam to get ships lost through time and space that they never get found back. Like the ship, like it just kind of like basically went in a time travel battle against each other, and like it just completely destroyed the Zeta ships. Then they sent a couple more ships, and like it just basically teleported all 7 ships on top of each other into a big block. Then they stayed calm after that. So it's like, yeah, that ship is pretty cool.
Fantastic.
And so now we have a colony in the North Pole. So right now I'm seeing the vibration of the North Pole. Well, you can do muscle testing also. It's like if you tune into the North Pole, how do you measure the energetic frequency? Can you do it right now? Can you do it quickly?
Well, initially I just got about more than the frequency. It's more than 50,000, Etienne. But I think it's probably more than that.
Yeah, so what I'm getting is now the frequency of the North Pole is 94 million, whereas the frequency of the South Pole is minus 92 million.
Oh, whoa, wow.
Which is kind of interesting.
It is, and there's also lots of things happening in the South, in Antarctica.
Yeah, because there's a lot of alien bases. The Dracos were there, deep state. Like there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of bases under Antarctica. So basically, the North Pole is already 5D.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
that's a great, like a great stabilizing force for the planet. And they brought very, very interesting technologies with them.
I see.
So when that guy, like those Arachnadesh attacked us, and like it's been like a very, very strong attack. So we're careful on how to handle that. And then I'm like, okay, if we want to destroy them, the thing is, that guy said that they were holding his sister captured.
Oh,
So we had to do a rescue operation before destroying them, basically. So so we got a team of 5 Orion volunteers from the base in the North Pole, who just went like on a quick operation. And I was watching them, like it was really fascinating to watch like how they conducted that operation. So 5, like just like 5 5 squad soldiers. They have a 12D mapping system, so you're able to like see everything from a 12D perspective that bypasses all traps and all illusions. It helps you to, because those arachnid are very, very strong on traps and illusions.
oh,
Extremely, extremely strong on that. In multi-dimensional stuff, like very, very high level knowledge. So you just navigate through that. They went with their ship cloaked, of course. So they got on their moon, completely undetected. First, like scanning the whole area. There's the Arachnadesh, locating the prisoners. They located basically 20. They basically located 20 prisoners. Okay, so after locating everything, they basically it's like these are like multi-dimensional locks, and just like, I mean, like all those multi-dimensional locks, I can open any locks, and yeah, many Orions are very good at opening up all kind of locks. So they just open up the locks. They have, I saw they had some technology to cancel out noise. So it just like, yeah, sends a wave that cancels out any noise, and then they take the prisoner, replace it with a hologram, leave cloaked, and then they left bombs all over the place. I think they left about 118 bombs all over the place. Goes in place, then it's cloaked, and then it just phased out of physical reality.
wow.
And then they left undetected until 3 hours after they left.
Superb.
And then, I mean, yeah, these are pros. And then they realized that they found one of the bombs. So they had to, because we did not have the go yet to attack. In order to eliminate a civilization, there's a lot of paperwork and protocols with the federations that like everybody needs to agree on that. And like no one wanted to save that group of pirates. But like there's a protocol to go in play. They need to be given an opportunity to collaborate. They need to be given a grace period.
Oh,
All members of the federation need to be notified, and they need to have the opportunity to have their word to say on the topic. So we had to go through all that protocol. So there were a couple of days delays. But when they found one of the bombs, then like to prevent the other bombs from being detectable, then they auto-programmed the bombs. They were like, it's gonna self-destruct in 8 hours, and then like cut any communication, because they could see like if there's communication, they can detect it through that signal. Cut the signal, then they're completely isolated systems, phased out of physical reality. They just phase back in right before the impact. That's the only bomb. Like they knew that they were booby trapped, but like they haven't been able to find anything else.
wow.
And then I think that the explosion of each one is about, it's like each of those bombs is about 10 Hiroshima implosion, and then 50 times the strength in the implosion kind of like a vacuum suction. It was like, and those attacks stopped. I said boom on Facebook, and the attack stopped instantly. And like, it felt a massive shift. Like, yeah, that like it stopped all of a sudden. And then I observed 34% of the mass of the moon was gone. What we did not realize is that, well, there's actually a civilization living in Sheol. I think there's about 28 people on the main planet under the moon, and 36 million people total in Sheol. So I was thinking to collapse the time bubble, and I'm like, no, I cannot do that. And because all those people, it's like those arachnids were just a big pain in the ass for like all the other people. And then what looks like happened is then the moon basically crashed on the planet. What's left of the moon crashed on the planet. So yeah, the arachnids, they're completely gone, and their soul was recycled, and that's pretty much the end of it.
Wow. Gosh.
So that was a pretty effective operation. Like at the point we're at, it's like getting like waves of assaults one after the other, and so many guardians from all across this universe, from across the multiverse, the ascended masters, like all focused here. But like our patience right now for rogue groups like that is very, very thin. And yeah, it's like what's happening here is impacting the balance, like across the entire universe, but also across the entire multiverse. And that is why there's so much focus here, because it's like in order to stabilize the universe, this planet needs to be stabilized.
This is incredible, and hearing it as from you, Etienne, because I don't think there's any other source with that kind of info and with that much of accuracy. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and I'm asking everyone listening to this, do use the muscle testing to measure the accuracy of what I just described here. And also what I want to mention, like I was not involved in this operation at all, other than consulting and communicating with some of the other ones. But I was not involved in the operation like at all. Like a lot of us were just like on standby and kind of like we're just waiting for everybody was just waiting for the go. But I was not really involved in this operation. I was only observing what's been happening. Now, right now, there's another wave of attack. There's the Asgardians. That's one group in the inner Earth. That is now I just realized that like they're basically blackmailing people around me over Facebook, sending like messages, like mostly to cute women. So it should be taken as a compliment. But yeah, just blackmailing people. But then like attacking them very, very strong psychic power. I don't know like why they want to draw our attention like that. But I don't think it's a smart idea anyway. And then now I look into that and realize, well, like we tried hammering them down and realize that they're actually like very, very, very strong. So just hammering them is not quite enough. They have very like the coup in Bolivia. The Afghanians are responsible for it, like trying to take control of the political system in Bolivia. They're trying to do the same in Peru right now. Have a strong grip in Central Asia, in Eastern Russia. In Asia, now because of the work of cleansing I've been doing here, they've been losing a lot of their control in Eastern, Southeast Asia. They have a lot of control over Muslims, apparently. So yeah, they're very it's like very active in increasing their power and influence over the surface population, especially in the political sphere, like controlling the matrix of reality and controlling people's thoughts and emotions. So they're very, very strong at mind control and that kind of stuff. So now we're dealing with that situation.
And actually, when I found out through you about this how do you pronounce them?
Afghartian.
Afghans. I realized, Etienne, that they got a lot to do with the thinking and the brainwashing of many people in my country. And I am so surprised. At the same time, it explains a lot of the
It's interesting. We don't even know who they are, but it explains a lot.
yes, in
It's
the
just like
sense
that
that
hidden force that's right
yes,
beneath the surface.
behind the thinking, behind the actions, and it is beginning to make a lot of sense. So, well, you got another job at hand.
I did a way of cleaning, but now I'm not. I'm not the one dealing with this operation either. Now this time the solar angels are going to take care of this one. They're more, let's say, solar angels are like very, very, very tall, and they're more suitable for working on suns, building the energetic structures of planets, solar systems, stuff like that. But let's say they don't have the gentleness and calibration to like work on people generally.
I see.
But what they're going to do during this solstice is really the perfect time to for an operation like this. So with the solstice, align the energy of the central galactic sun with various focusing lens and beaming that straight through the Afghartians. I think we can reach about 1,600% incineration over the solstice period. And the federations have been asking them not to hold back.
Oh,
So let's see how much heat they can take. But trying to like draw or direct attention with blackmailing, that's a stupid juvenile move. What? Like anyway, like just take them out and should and get done with it.
fantastic. I mean, it is so unbelievable.
So
Boy.
yeah, that's the situation we're dealing with right now. But yeah, now there's so many powerful guardians involved on Earth right now. Like some of them are getting bored. They're just waiting for like the opportunity to get a job to do. So it's like, okay, yeah, you can take this one. Okay, yeah, you can take this job. Okay, go ahead. Hey, I found something for you. Okay. So it's a lot more fun when the balance of power is in our favor, let's say, and when we're gaining momentum, because now we're leveraging the power of momentum. So now again, we've been kind of going on for a while, like longer than expected, but like covering a lot of good stuff. Like yeah, just another thing I want to talk about that's quite important is the balance of power in the universe. There's basically been like the Dracos are gone.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The reptilians been kicked back into the Draco belt. However, it has been agreed by the different groups and federation, like we've been discussing about this, and we've come to the conclusion that we will leave the Draco belt to them under certain conditions, and like basically they like they're the ones who basically will maintain the balance in the universe and kind of they will keep our swords will keep our swords sharp. So yeah, that's their job. Keep us keep us alert and on the guard. So they will keep their 7% of the universe in the Draco belt. Now there was other than that, the Orion Federation is back. Oh. After being destroyed by the Dracos 12,000 years ago. The Dracos, well, it was like a third between the Draco, the Galactic Federation, the Orion Federation. The Orion Federation got destroyed, and then went like dominoes, and the Dracos took over everything. And I think Marco shared that in one of your interviews with you. Yeah. Now the Dracos are gone. Orion Federation is back with 36% of the universe. And the Galactic Federation was very heavily infiltrated by the Dracos, and like things were not going well. It's like basically imploded, and now it's being replaced by the Anplale Alliance, which Andromeda Pleiades Lemuria Alliance, which represents let's 36%. We have 7%. I think something like 53%, something like that, of the Anplale Alliance, with the Galactic Federation coming into it. And then there was that like 5.2%. We did not know what it was, but now we realize it was those pirates group. So right now the federations are headed there right now they basically agreed that we have a window of opportunity to with this momentum to eliminate those pirates. If we don't, they will destroy entire civilizations and will be a lot of problems, and everybody agreed to use this momentum to get rid of them. And the slave races, there's many slave races in that part of the universe. They will be left alone for a couple of thousand years. It's going to take them a couple of thousand years just to lift off of their rock. And at that state of evolution, the law of non-interference applies. So that will be basically a buffer zone that is not in either federation. It's a buffer zone that will be left on their own. So now, and between the Anplale Alliance, also different groups like will have expanded territory, and it's all being agreed upon. Like some groups might get greedy, but like it's very important, like, okay, we've agreed on those territories and don't get greedy, like don't try to take more than that. And it's like, that's why like we've already established all of the territories, and so that everybody sticks to that. But now like all of the territories in the universe kind of have been agreed upon already.
You mentioned about the Anplale Federation or something. I've not heard it before. It's pretty new, Etienne?
Yes. Oh. Yeah, that's after the massive attacks from the upper universes that caused the collapse of the Galactic Federation.
Oh, okay.
And that emerged out of it.
All right. Yeah. Wow, what an update we're having.
So it's not just stuff going on this planet. The entire universe is flipping on its head. And this is the central point to stabilize everything else.
Yes.
It was the major stronghold of the dark forces, and it's going to become the major stronghold of the light forces.
It's fantastic. It's about time anyway.
So I don't know how long we've been. So these are the updates I wanted to share.
Mm-hmm.
And the next time I'll want to talk more about people's roles in all of this. Like it's not just about collecting information, but like actually like we are here for a reason, and it's like more in concrete terms, like what to do with all of that information. So like each part of this interview are very, very important. We kind of like build up on each other with this, like we understand how to validate information and like be grounded in truth, and not just like, okay, one person say that, one person say that. Now understanding more of the context and the updates of what is actually happening and where we're at. Like a lot of people are like freaking out with the development of Earth. Like dark forces are completely surrounded. They have absolutely nowhere to go. It's like even like all the stuff with the deep state, like 5G, AI, is like all that stuff is just like there to wake up the population, to like force them into action and realize the ugliness of what's been going on. And ultimately it's part of the cleansing process. Like, well, where are they going to expand from that? They are the planet is completely surrounded. Solar system is completely surrounded. The entire universe is completely surrounded by the Anplale Federation, by the Orion Federation, who are making this planet the central focus to stabilize the other emerging federations. They have absolutely nowhere to go. So it's just people need to get up their ass and actually do their job, because we need to do the cleaning on this planet to build heaven on earth here, instead of like just waiting for others to do it for us. Yeah, sure. Either the people are going to do it themselves, or God is going to do it for them. But if God does it for them, it comes with chaos and destruction. That's where we're starting to see now.
Yeah, right.
Until they get the message that, well, maybe chaos and destruction is not the best way for them.
Well, thank you.
So that's all for me.
Yeah, thank you very much, Etienne. It's been wonderful reconnecting with you with these fantastic updates of the planetary and cosmic level. And I'm sure more people will be more aware of stuff that's been going on, of things that has been done by the light forces, and the involvement of all these civilizations in the cosmos. So, come to think of it, if we lost our wallet in the street, it's such a small.
Yeah, when you view it like that.
Yeah, so you see the perspective now. And we are very, very lucky to have all these positive races to be around us. And we are protected and fortified. And there's every chance of a golden era. Right, Etienne?
Yeah. Everything is on track for let's say, fast track ascension. So I estimate, well, first of all, I estimate a big major earthquake in California in about maybe 2 years and a half. It's going to take about people 6 months to recover from that. And then it needs to happen after that. That's what it takes to break the insanity. So nobody's trying to stop that. There's a very, very small probability of the earthquake not happening, but that would actually be a bad timeline where things would just linger for a long time. So I actually would do everything in my power to ensure that this actually happens, or like something just as good. We need a major event to shake the insanity that's going on in the States right now. So it's going to take people about 6 months to recover, and a lot of people are going to die, not in the earthquake itself, but in the way the way people react to it. Like if the grid goes down and just like people's insanity, it's in the aftermath it's going to be very chaotic. After 6 months, that is where we're like going to be on the fast track moving forward. So I'm really looking forward to 3 years from now. And I'm expecting that like open contact with other species at the pace we're going on right now might happen in about 12 years. But that's what I'm seeing. So we're in a very fast track.
Yes, actually, of late, Etienne, I noticed that time is being speeding up this week. Did you feel it?
This week,
I felt so.
Well, yeah, actually, it's time has been kind of weird this week, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, there's kind of something weird going on with it. Yeah, there's maybe.
Mm-hmm. And yesterday's energy was bad, Etienne. I felt it. I don't know why, but today I feel much better, honestly.
Yeah, well, now we're opening coming on the solstice, and then the solar eclipse on 26th, so that's gonna hit pretty hard.
All right.
Last year also we had the solstice with the eclipse right after. It took me 3 months to recover from it. Let's hope this year is going to be well, for me it's going to be smoother at least.
Okay, Etienne, thank you very much.
I'm measuring on this interview 90. The accuracy I'm measuring is 99 point. I'm measuring 99.96% accuracy on this interview, which is really unheard of for this kind of information. But if you get like over 60 or 80%, it's considered really excellent. But like 99.96%, like you're not gonna find any information that has that level of accuracy. And like, but just I always tell people, never listen to me when I say accuracy. Check, always measure it for yourself. Only your own result counts.
Yes. Thank you very much again. Oh, you have something else to say, Etienne?
No, that's it. We've gone long enough. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And make sure to put the link to the first interview in the description also.
Okay, sure.
And like so people can refer back to the first interview easily.
All right. Okay. Bye.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.